Welcome to SVG-TV News for Friday, September 5th, 2025. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. A week after the official reopening of schools for the new academic year, several critical issues affecting the proper delivery of education remain unresolved. That's according to President of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Teachers Union, Oswald Robinson. Robinson's comments came in response to earlier statements that schools were adequately prepared for the reopening. However, Robinson told SVG-TV News that after visiting several schools and speaking with teachers, it is clear that a number of challenges are still impacting the teaching environment.
Brockstock cannot adequately deal with all the maintenance and repairs of all the schools in St. Vincent and the Grenadines in 2 weeks. So that statement alone should tell you that a lot of schools that have issues were untouched. In fact, the basic supplies to schools, Bristol board, markers, chalk, those things have not yet reached to the schools. Teachers have the burden to find these things, which is unfair. There are a number of schools that do not have janitors. And I want the authorities to get into the schools and clean them properly, because that's not the responsibility of our teachers.
One of the union's major concerns relates to teacher appointments. According to Robinson, the process of interviewing and appointing teachers mere days before the start of the school year is not only inefficient, but also leaves many schools underprepared.
There's still, for example, the Kingston Preparatory School that doesn't have a principal. You have Mr. Noel that is performing deputy position for many years, never receive an allowance. It's time that the ministry give him some upward mobility, because he has been there doing the bulk of the work and managing the school. You cannot have interviews last week Friday, and by Saturday morning, midday, people are being told that you are principal of this school, you are principal of that school. It doesn't work that way. I also said that you have people in administrative control in schools. And lo and behold, they have done all the work, professional development for the teachers, deploy the staff, and then you send somebody else to manage the school. This is totally unacceptable. You have teachers in the system who have received their graduate certificate from various universities since 2020 and cannot get their graduate appointment. And I have been writing the Ministry of Education, sending it to the Public Service Commission, and the Minister of Education, nobody is acknowledging receipt.
Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves announced on Wednesday that the Ministry of Education has approved the hiring of 100 teachers. While the Teachers Union welcomed the government's commitment to fill in vacancies, Robinson emphasized that approvals must be followed by swift action and a proper deployment to ensure minimal disruption to learning. The Buckerman Secondary School has reached a significant milestone, celebrating 20 years of service to education with a vibrant school march and prep rally earlier today. The event brought together students, staff, alumni, and members of the wider community in recognition of the school's achievements over the past 2 decades. At the rally, Principal Letitia Brewster extended congratulations to the entire school body, commended both past and present students and teachers for their dedication, hard work, and commitment to excellence. She emphasized that the anniversary not only marks the school's growth, but also highlights its continued role in shaping the future leaders of St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
Today, we gather here at Buckerman because we are Buckerman Bay Secondary School. We are celebrating 20 years. We are going to give ourselves a round of applause, students. 20 years. That is indeed something to celebrate. We have just marched with our feet and with so much excitement to celebrate 20 years. I cannot stress it enough. 20 years. 2 decades later, we are standing as living proof.
Also delivering remarks at the event was area representative of Minister of Housing, Informal Human Settlement, Youth and Sports, Orlando Brewster. He congratulated the institution on reaching this important milestone and underscored the crucial role education plays in national development.
Now, many of you, if you study the Bible very carefully, In the book of Mark, there's a story of a mustard seed. And I don't know if you know what a mustard seed is, but it is something very small, very tiny. But that mustard seed, when it is planted in the right environment, the right soil, it will become a massive tree when it is grown. And that is how I looked at the Bokoment Bay Secondary School. When it started, it was a very small institution. But today it has grown leaps and bounds to over 200 students. This school is a hub for nurturing talents. And there are many persons who once came through the halls of the Bokoment Bay Secondary School that has gone on to do significant things with their lives. And you students today, you should not be an exception. No longer should the school that you attend determine your future. No longer should you, because of a bad examination on a certain day, should that determine your future. You have to make sure that you grasp every opportunity that is presented through education from this noble institution.
The 20th anniversary celebration was described as a proud and reflective moment for the school, one that not only honors its past, but also reaffirms its ongoing mission to provide quality education and opportunities for generations to come. Minister of Housing, Informal, Human Settlement, Youth and Sports, Orlando Brewster, has assured Vincentians that national development is ongoing, with Peters Hope identified as the next area targeted for transformation. Speaking on the matter, Minister Brewster emphasized the government's continued commitment to creating sustainable opportunities through tourism. He noted that Peters Hope has significant potential to become a tourist-friendly destination, contributing to both community upliftment and the broader national economy.
Now, Peters Hope is ripe for development. Peters Hope is going to, in the next few years, have a massive resort in the likes of Marriott. What do you think will happen to the property values in Peters Hope? It's going to skyrocket. Just in Peters Hope alone, when we talk about housing in the next couple of years, you're going to see significant development. Because GECO is doing something there. Soon you will hear the announcement about housing for young professionals coming on stream in that area too. We're looking to bring in different services like banks and so on in that. That by itself is going to become a hub. But I said I want to make Central Leeward into the next tourism strip. So it's not only Villa and Kialakwa on the eastern end of the island. I want on the western side that we have a tourism strip as well.
The minister explained that the initiative forms part of the government's broader strategy to diversify development across St. Vincent and the Grenadines, ensuring that more communities benefit from investments in tourism and related sectors. The proposed project is expected not only to enhance the area's appeal to visitors, but also to create employment and business opportunities for local residents. As the opposition New Democratic Party, the NDP, continues its series of village meetings in preparation for the upcoming general elections, Member of Parliament for Central Kingston, Sinclair Leacock, has described the 2025 elections as a critical moment for the party. Speaking at a public meeting held in Maho, West Kingston on Thursday evening, Leacock reflected on the historical struggle for democracy in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. He also voiced concern about the potential consequences for the democratic process if the NDP fails to win this year's election.
It was Daniel's role and a lead role, supported by his colleagues, that helped to keep our democracy intact. And I'll make a prediction tonight. Granted that it will not happen, because you, the people in Maho, will see to that. But believe me, make the mistake. Make that mistake and put Ralph back into government. He will make himself an executive president of this country and will ride roughshod over the people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Because, let's face the reality, if the ULP goes back into office, NDP gone, it wash out. I call a spade a spade. I call a spade a spade. Camilo would have achieved what he set out to do. NDP must suffer and die.
Leacock further emphasized the importance of upholding the Constitution at all levels of government and urged citizens to vote for change.
Important role and decision in this election is whether we want in St. Vincent and the Grenadines that our democracy survives. That thing which we got in 1951 for grandparents, parents, to be able to participate and have a say here, whether that will continue. The second and closely aligned and important decision, because this is part of the work of the New Democratic Party, you know. They call it our wilderness years, Abidjan, is the constitutionalism of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Whether we remain a country of laws with our constitution being the most important law, our lawyer friend there will tell us, Ronnie Balcom, in this country. And that's not a fabrication, because the evidence exists.
The NDP is expected to continue its campaign this weekend with village meetings scheduled in the Southern Grenadines as the party ramps up its outreach efforts ahead of the general elections. Africa-Caricom Day was observed today in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, led by the Ministry of Tourism, Civil Aviation, Sustainable Development and Culture. The ministry's permanent secretary, Dr. Timira Brown, proudly dressed in traditional African wear, participated in the celebrations and modeled her outfit as part of the cultural showcase. Dr. Brown explained that Africa-Caricom Day, observed annually on September 7th, is an important opportunity to highlight and celebrate African heritage within the local context.
It is extremely important given the ancestry of the Vincentian populace and how we want to ensure that we continually connect to our past and preserve our heritage and empower our future generations. On stage right now, you have some students from the C.W. Prescott Primary School, and they're also participating. And for us, that is extremely important because preserving our heritage fundamentally lies in ensuring that our youth are appreciative of where we are coming from, of what traditions we are accustomed to, of the music that is special to us and to our ancestors, and ensuring that it goes all the way into the future generations.
And Dr. Brown noted that this year's outdoor activities were designed to attract greater public interest and participation, especially among Vincentians unfamiliar with African culture. She added that this format contrasts with previous indoor events and aims to create a more inclusive and vibrant experience. The observance also coincide with the ongoing African-Caricom Summit being held in Ethiopia.
I think today's event is really important. It is really within our expectations. We expected persons as they are passing to engage, to visit the stations, to also be listening from their offices. So that's one of the reasons why we thought it fit to come out of our office and to engage with the wider community in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Many persons were not very familiar with Africa-Caricom Day. And it is a very recent initiative. In 2021, at the first Africa-Caricom Summit, there was the establishment of this day. And as I speak, currently Prime Minister Gonzalez is attending the second Africa-Caricom Summit that is being held in Ethiopia. I think that it is important not just as a day, but to represent who we are as our people, our history as a people. And you may be aware too that last month we had the official handover of the volume 1 of the history of St. Vincent and the Grenadines by 4 historians. Therefore, we are connecting the dots because once we build our historical literacy in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, I think we would definitely be better off.
Meanwhile, Director of Culture Maxine Brown praised the wide range of participants involved in today's event. She stated that everything on display was done by Vincentians, from the clothing to the crafts and performances. It's a proud moment for local culture.
We chose to celebrate and commemorate this day, which is usually hosted on September 7th. But today is the 5th, and we chose to celebrate today because it falls on a Sunday. And so today we're celebrating through the arts, through music, through dance, through drumming, through visual arts, through our craft vendors, and of course through food, because we chose to introduce vendors who will showcase a breadfruit recipe or breadfruit dish from the recipe book we have on breadfruit. And so everyone has come out and they're quite in a celebratory mood, and we're happy that we are truly creating the awakening of this day, and Vincentians are getting more and more involved. And so we are proud that at the Department of Culture we get the word out, and people now, having been empowered, want to do more, and that's an important factor in building our people in St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
This marks the third consecutive year that St. Vincent and the Grenadines has formally observed African-Caricom Day, which seeks to strengthen ties between the African continent and the Caribbean region through culture, cooperation, and shared history. We continue this evening to feature the contestants vying for the Miss SVG 2025 title. 19-year-old Anelia Williams is contestant number 7 in this year's pageant and La Flor Royale pageant. She is the youngest of the 7 young women competing for the coveted crown. In an interview with SVG-TV News at the official launch of Miss SVG 2025, Williams, who resides in Richland Park, shared that her motivation for entering the pageant stems from a desire to gain new experiences at a young age.
I definitely think I could win the pageant, even being the youngest.
I see you've entered pageants before. You're into the pageant world.
Yes.
What has it been like for you preparing, and what's different with this one here with Miss SVG 2025?
So far it's definitely been a learning experience. It's much different than my first pageant in the sense that it's much different in the sense that you're not just vying for the title for your school, you know, represent your country. I chose to enter as a way to build my public speaking skills, personal development, and to grow on my first pageant, Miss GHS, Miss Heritage 2019.
Williams is a proud alumna of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Girls High School, and she furthered her studies in tourism at the SVG Community College. An aspiring pilot, she noted that the pageant journey is already proven to be valuable.
What are some of the things you've learned so far in terms of training?
We've definitely learned poise, how to walk, how to speak, also how to dress. The physical appearance is important as it's the first thing that people see. We must be on guard as to how we look at all times, and it's not just to represent yourself, we also have our sponsors to uphold.
I know you mentioned in your speech and in the bio here you're interested in aviation and want to become a pilot.
So I'm inspired by aviation because I'm interested in traveling, and I also did a tourism studies degree which helped to further educate me on how visitors see our country and build on cultural heritage of our.
The Miss SVG 2025 pageant is scheduled to take place on November 1st, 2025 at the Victoria Park.